Hello, everyone. It's Mike Jaco with Unleashing Intuition Secrets. Hope that light off my head doesn't blind you. Yeah. So, I was watching the Charlie Kirk Memorial pretty much all day. It's bittersweet. It's. I think the Democrat Party is dead. Right. So it's going to take a while to kill it, make it go away, like they were attempting to do with the Republicans and conservatives. But we're as who is it that crossed the Rubicon? Julius Caesar. And once he crossed the Rubicon, it was game over. Right? He was like, okay, here we go. We're gonna kick some ass. Veni vidi vici. Right? I came, I saw, I conquered. So that's basically what's happening now with conservatives. We've had enough of the bullshit from the Democrats. Amazingly, like Erica Kirk said during the memorial, when in her speech, she's like, there were, unlike when the Democrats, have their people, die or, have problems with them. There were no riots, no cities burned, no people were killed. Right. So, but the Democrats continue to shoot everything up. The leftists, the liberals. There was like Jimmy Kimmel got fired from ABC, so I guess a supporter went and shot up a ABC news station, shot several bullets into it, and he got arrested. So I mean, the violence still happens. They're more pissed off that Jimmy Kimmel got taken off the air because of a comment that he made about Charlie Kirk than the actual killing of Charlie Kirk, or whatever happened there. Right. So the latest is there's a guy in the crowd that supposedly has a handgun, fits in the hand. And so he's so accurate, he can shoot that handgun between his fingers, and it got Charlie Kirk and, killed him. So, that's the latest. There's going to be more of those that are probably going to come. That's the latest. When that gets pretty much people, get spun in that direction for a little bit, and some people believe it, and some people are like, that's stupid. Then that'll stop, and they'll start another one. That's the way these things are. So they're going to keep doing that until people are like, stop with the bullshit, right? But they're going to keep coming until people do. So I've seen this many, many, many times. The palm pistol, Kristen. Yeah, look it up. It's a palm pistol. A guy in a brown shirt, and they're like, look at the angle, and it's like just the same stuff. So that yesterday it was a guy in a stairwell, and the angle was perfect for him, and now the angle's perfect for the guy with a hand pistol that you can't really tell, but it looks kind of like there's something in between his fingers, and it fits between your fingers. But yeah, you can not even I'm going to have to sight in to get an accurate shot with my pistol, but somebody can just bring their hand up to their chest, and boom, it's just perfect. And people are going to believe it, evidently. So it is what it is. People are going to, look at this stuff. They'll continue to discuss it and talk about it until they get tired of it, and then they'll stop. Right. Like I said, I've seen this over and over again. And I've known, like I know this one, to be basically false flag. And I've seen other events that I knew because I was on the other side of it, that things were a false flag. And then I saw the press ramping it up and ramping it up and ramping it up. And it got to the place now when we see that the aliens were involved in Charlie Kirk's shooting, that's probably the sign that we've reached the pinnacle. Because I've seen that in other events where they just keep what else can we throw at these knuckleheads and they might believe it. It's the one that really usually gets people is the alien involvement. All right. So when we see the alien involvement come up, if that even gets to that point, then we know we've reached the pinnacle and things are going to start to die off for this. All right. So it's very unfortunate. You know, obviously Charlie Kirk is no longer with us, whether he's in witness protection, Valhalla, you know, we've had other people talking about, uh, you know, like Wano Saban. So is he in Valhalla? And, you know, I don't know. I don't know where Valhalla is, but that's a code name, it sounds like, for, you know, witness protection. Now, I heard that President Trump, haven't had a chance to look it up, but somebody said it in the chat today in another show that I had earlier, that President Trump signed a bill that would give leniency to people that faked their death. As I guess maybe leniency as long as it was, you know, for circumstances that, you know, their life was in danger. Maybe, I don't know. I haven't read the bill. If it was a bill, if it was signed into law, I don't know. All right. So we have also Congress, which has to pass the bill before October 1st. Otherwise, the government shuts down. Now, they play this game all the time. The only time that I've ever seen them extend it was during the Obama administration. And that only impacted people like myself that were, and I think maybe it's one of the targets, people like myself that were doing security for the CIA. So I couldn't go overseas, probably impacted other people. The military, they got their money, which is good. We want to make sure they get paid, right? And there were essential personnel were getting paid, but everything else was shutting down. But things just kept going. Things just kept going. Maybe they should do that for a while, every time. Now we know they're cutting costs on a lot of stuff. USAID basically took that off the books to a great extent. It's saved billions of dollars. They cut all kinds of education and all kinds of crazy stuff that was basically laundering and, you know, stealing money. They cut a lot of stuff. Now in Argentina, remember how Elon Musk said we're going to do it like Milu did it in Argentina? The president of Argentina came in and just started chopping everything, and that was well received. But I'm going to show you how maybe that is not so good. All right, for him, his party, and also the future of Argentina. So now, United States, how much longer before the United States basically has problems? We're going to see. We're going to see how much longer they're able to extend this crisis that's brewing, right? Extend it to the point before it actually happens, right? Now, Charlie Kirk, you know, it happened in Phoenix where they did the memorial. Now, you see this car wreck right here. I was traveling back home from Las Vegas. You see that's the desert highway. You see all the clouds. I'm going to show you some where it was like pouring rain. It's kind of clear right there right now, but it was super pouring rain. I noticed it was pouring rain, obviously, and I have a Range Rover that has I can dial in, you know, different, like, it basically adjusts the suspension so that I can go over like desert terrain, snow, rocks. I can rock crawl with the car. The car is absolutely phenomenal. I have big fat Pirelli tires on it. So I was starting to get a little light, and I was like, oh, a little hydroplaning. And so, because it was really dumping rain. And so I dialed in basically the rain dial. So it basically adjusts the suspension so it, you know, doesn't hydroplane. So I'm traveling, as you guys can see, if you look back here, this is the road coming up the hill. I'm coming up the hill. It's pouring rain. I'd already slowed down a little bit because, you know, Mike's an intuitive, and sometimes I just listen to what I feel. And this car right here was coming in the opposite direction. He was at the top of a hill, at the hill that I'm going up. And I noticed he got light. So he's in a Kia. I noticed that Kia got light right at the top of the hill, and I came off my gas. And I'm usually I'm fairly aggressive driver. I don't speed other than when I pass people that are knuckleheads on the road. So I have a car that really goes really fast. It's turbocharged. And so I love that because I get to go around knuckleheads and are inconsiderate drivers. So I can go fast, or I can, it's got like these unbelievable brakes that will stop the car on almost a dime. And when I saw that car, that Kia, get light, I was like, oh, that's not good. So I came off my accelerator, and I'm getting ready to maneuver, pump the brakes, whatever I got to do. And I saw his car start to come into my lane, right? But I still got a good distance, and I can still maneuver. So I'm not completely concerned about it. And then I saw his car spin, and it spun and it spun. And it's almost like it got some kind of force that took it over. And it just started going in reverse at a high speed. It went up this embankment right here that you see on my side of the road, and it started flipping. It flipped several times, and it came to a stop right there. I went past it. We called 911, and they came after several minutes. But I got out and I started, seeing if I could help the guy. Where's the photos? Photos. Oh, it's a pain in the butt. All right, so let me see if I can pull them up. Anyway, I'm not going to mess around with it. It's not going to play. All right, so it basically shows me writing the report. I'm with the guy. I'm asking the guy, where are you from? And or where are you going? He's like, I'm from Phoenix. He was going to Phoenix, and his car lost control right in front of mine. So, of course, I've talked about Charlie Kirk. My life is always targeted. So I don't know. Was it just a coincidence that this? And imagine if I wasn't intuitive, if I wasn't an expert driver that's been through many driving schools for the CIA and so forth, and I felt very, very comfortable, even, with this car losing control and spinning right in front of me. I was like, I still got a chance to maneuver. I'm still good. And we just watched it spin in front of us, go up the bank, like I said, flip over right in front of us, and then come to a stop. And then we just pulled a little bit back, got in, flashing lights, called 911. I got out, talked to the guy, helped him out. He had lacerations on his forehead. It was bleeding. His car was total, right? Total. Unbelievable. But he survived. I asked, is anybody else in the car? He's like, no. And I, was trying to keep him talking because he had hit his head. I didn't want him going concussion or anything. Or if he was going into a concussion, keep him talking. So I just kept asking him questions, and very, very nice guy, but crazy stuff. So yeah, we have these events that happen to us, guys, and like a Charlie Kirk assassination, Now, like I said, and I believe Charlie Kirk is not with us in the old sense of the word, but in another sense of the word, he's in witness protection, right? So you're going to continue to have all these different things. They're going to come out. Some of it's deep state spinning, some it's white hat spinning, and so forth. And it's like I said, it's going to just continue. Other people will be threatened, like this one guy that went to shoot up the ABC because I guess, he loves Jimmy Kimmel, and he doesn't like. So I heard that ABC is now in negotiations. I don't know if this is a ruse, so maybe they can throw off the people that are going to leftist crazies are going to start to target them. It's like we're in negotiations to maybe have Jimmy Kimmel come back, and which they probably don't, because he had super low, people watching him. They were falling off a cliff. Now, I think he should have been, kicked off the air, maybe even gone to jail, because he was pushing vaccination. He said that anyone that get the vaccination, they should die. Right? These talk show hosts were doing that back then, and he said that anyone that needed, any kind of work done in a hospital shouldn't be allowed to go in a hospital. Should just die, right? If they don't get their vaccination. So, he's a deep state puppet. They wear him out until they are no longer useful, and they need to discard him, right? So his show, I think he had at the lowest, he had 160,000 people watching him, or 116,000 watching him. My video on Charlie Kirk, in fact, got more views than that. On Rumble, which is my low view, place, it already had that many views when it got pulled off of YouTube. So, I got more views than Jimmy Kimmel, in the end, talking about Charlie Kirk. So he talked about Charlie Kirk, had low views, and they kicked him off. That's sweet justice, right? And then a car spins out of control in front of me and almost takes me out. It's like, it's crazy world we live in, guys. That's normal for me, though. So anyway, that's where we're at now. If you didn't watch the Charlie Kirk Memorial, I recommend it. It was beautiful. All right. I think there's pretty much a revival that's going on now in America. People are, coming to God, reading the Bible, taking up Jesus Christ, and I think that's fantastic, because that's where America needs to be right now. All right. Because what does that do to the Luciferians? It pushes them out. Right. Luciferians are real. All right. Those of us that really ascribe to God, and I'm not talking about all the churches, because some of those churches are Luciferian churches, guys. All right. They promote transgenderism, all kinds of crazy stuff. They twist the words of the Bible around. They're Luciferian churches. So just because a lot of people are going back to church, what kind of church? Right? What kind of church are they going back to? So that's a very powerful thing that I think that's happening. It is quite moving to me. All right. So again, Charlie Kirk, whether you believe he was shot, whether you believe he was not shot, regardless, it is a movement that is being built off that. Amazingly, in 11 days after he's shot, they had this massive event, 100,000 people. They couldn't fit them all into the stadium. And President Trump was made sure that everybody realized this is not an arena, it's a stadium. All right, stadium has a lot more people. I don't know how many that Glendale, Arizona stadium holds, but it was full. It was packed. And there was like many more that were watching on other video screens. And that's normally the way what happens or what did happen at Trump events. I went to several of them. There were massive crowds they were outdoor events. The ones I went to, pretty cool ones. No way all the people that were at the events that I was at would fit in 2 stadiums, right? So it's pretty impressive. The movement, Donald Trump's movement, and Charlie Kirk. They're crediting Charlie Kirk with helping, if not actually being the reason why President Trump and his whole cabinet, which was there to speak, his whole cabinet. It was like a dictator's dream to take down, Trump and his whole team. If the Russians really did hate us, if the Chinese really did hate us, which they don't, they would have basically taken that stadium out, and they've taken down all of the government of the United States. Right? That counts. The other ones, the Democrats that didn't show up, they can't run the country. They've already shown that in every state they're in. So, and of course, they make really stupid decisions in Congress and Senate and stuff. Imagine those people running the show. Well, we did see what happened when those people did run the show, and it was a shit show. Like, we just had a great example with Joe Biden. Good God, what a train wreck of a administration, the worst administration in the history of the United States. So we know what a full-on Democrat run government is like. It's a train wreck, and that's another reason why in pretty much every state they're in, it's a train wreck. It's falling apart. Chicago. Trump said again, Charlie Kirk was from Chicago, and he begged President Trump to save Chicago. And Trump said that he's going to do that. All right. 11 deaths in Chicago over the weekend. It's going to happen. But Chicago's going to resist. They're going to absolutely resist, just like the criminal. And they're already resisting ICE right now on a massive scale in Chicago. So it's got to happen. You're going to have to put National Guard in there to protect the ICE agents. This is what we've already seen in Los Angeles. And then if it gets worse, we're going to see the military go in. Now, the military will probably go into almost every town. The military is on the border. The border right now, almost zero drugs coming across the border, almost zero illegal aliens coming across the border. It's like Border Patrol that's been there for generations. People that have had, family ties of people that have been working the border as border security. And they said that there's never been a time like this. So at some point, it will happen in every city in the United States. All right. So let's look at this beautiful, all these beautiful people, Americans that are in the stadium. Absolutely fantastic. This stadium is full of people. And like I said, President Trump's entire cabinet came and spoke.
He chose our schools as his arena because he knows that they are meant to teach, to train our young people to think critically, to debate ideas, to test their strength through a clash of reason. But too often, these schools silence debate, saying words are violence and dissenting voices are hushed. And those who speak of God, those who speak the truth, simple objective truths like there are only two genders in these schools, they are told you have no voice. Charlie chose this arena to take these people head on, to challenge these institutions, these students and faculty, encouraging them to come, to speak honestly, bring your ideas, debate loudly, and think critically.
So this is the way conservatives think. It is the way that America was always meant to be until we're infiltrated by the Luciferians. All right. So again, this is going to stop. I've seen a lot of the Luciferians, their comments on social media. It's atrocious, absolutely atrocious. Literal witches cackling, saying that it's good that he's gone, but there's two more that should be next, and they just cackling like witches. It's amazing. So this is what we're going to see going forward, as far as like this exposure of this evil side, and people are just going to like start to turn away from it.
I miss him so much because our marriage and our family were beautiful. They still are.
So the nuclear family is a revival. The male and the female and children, they represented that. It's moving back in that direction. The transgenderism, it's basically not homelessness, homosexuality, all these things. Probably homosexuality and transgenderism are not going to go completely away, but it's not going to be put on a pedestal. It's not going to be what most of us in the United States and probably the rest of the world adhere to. And, if you're living in the Middle East, then of course, the way they deal with homosexuality, they throw people off buildings. That's never going to happen here. We treat everyone with respect. No one needs to be feel threatened. Conservatives will allow you to do what you're going to do as long as you're not being gross or stepping over bounds and coming at their children and so forth, which we've seen, unfortunately, start to accelerate. America, unfortunately, now is the #1 place of child trafficking and so forth. So that's going to stop. That will stop. And of course, President Trump is here to help make it happen.
He was always in it for the mission. As he liked to say, even back then, we have a country to save. Just what he did. He'd call me all the time, sir, we have a country to save. I said, Charlie, thanks very much for telling me that. I appreciate it.
All right. So yeah, we, the American people, have a country to save. All right. It's ours to lose or ours to save. Which do you choose? All right. I choose to save it. I choose to be, out here vocally getting myself targeted. All right. But, we do have a very good audience out there. Now, the murder of Charlie Kirk, there's a lot of good commentary out there. 50 years ago, long after the great event that traumatized America, the murder of President John F. Kennedy, and later his brother Bobby, evidence is surfacing pointing the accusing finger at a then unrecognized deep state. Now, the deep state, up until a few years ago, was never, that term was never used on any, if you're on social media, it got taken off. If it was on, it was never mentioned by anyone within the political realm. They never said deep state. Now it is commonly talked about. That word that many of us have been, whispering and talking about and sharing as much as we can for a long time is now well known. We know that we're under threat. We know that the world is under threat. And that is why the world, basically after the Charlie Kirk assassination event, now that is why the world is pushing back on their, deep state, institutions, people that are controlling them, are trying to control them. Now here we have, the deep state trots out Bernie Sanders, Elizabeth Warren, AOC, Jasmine Crockett, Hakeem Jeffries, Gavin Newsom, who is now being investigated. Gavin Newsom, yeah, he made some comments recently. I think about who did he talk about? He talked about who did he talk about? Let me think. It's Kristi Noem, right? Homeland Security Secretary Kristi Noem. I'm pulling up the thing I don't remember, but I do when it's here waiting for me. So Bill Essayli, the acting U.S. Attorney for the Central District of California, on Saturday said he referred Governor, and this is the acting U.S. Attorney for Central District of California. Wow, in California. He is referring Gavin Newsom to the Secret Service for a full threat assessment after he made statements saying, basically Kristi Noem is going to have a bad day today, right? That could be, anything, but if anyone said that about anyone in the political realm at the top like this, you're going to get looked at. So this is monumental. They're starting to find things on a lot of these, deep state puppets. Gavin Newsom, obviously, one of them, right? So Noem has neither responded to Newsom nor Essayli, and neither has Governor Newsom. So Newsom, right? So Newsom is his days are numbered, I think, and it probably will get that nice necktie at some point. So the Trump administration ramped up its mass deportation campaign, and now Newsom is basically saying that any federal government person that's in the state of California must not wear a mask. This is the guy that insisted that everybody wear a mask just a few years ago. All right. He was so vigilant in his knuckleheadedness that I left the state of California and went to Florida. All right. So how much longer? How much longer do we have to put up with Gavin Newsom and a lot of these deep state puppets that are out there? All right. Time's ticking. Time keeps on ticking, ticking, ticking into the future. Yeah. So they don't have much. They don't have much more of that left before they go bye-bye. That's my thoughts on that. So I don't know. Who knows? Maybe they hang out. So is the Fed about to ignite a 1999 style market melt up? So basically, just like what's happening right now, the Fed started to cut interest rates. The stock market, as you guys, some of you might remember, the 2000 .com explosion upwards. If it had a dot and a com after its name, it went up 100%, 600%, 100, 1,000% a day sometimes. So it was insane. So we're in the same situation as we saw with the .com bust, well, eventual bust, but everything that happened during the .com explosion. Now, the thing that's different this time is we didn't have residential and commercial real estate crashing. So you're having a lot of that money that's coming out of well, it's already come out of commercial real estate on a massive scale, and still is coming out of it. 85, 95%, crash in a lot of the prices for commercial real estate. We're already starting to see 5, 10, 15, 20% price declines. Some places even 50% already, in some places in Florida and in Utah. So it's already starting to pick up speed in a lot of areas, and we're just getting started. This party is just getting started. Now, some of you guys know that I've been talking about this for years, at least a couple of years. I was like, get out of real estate, right? I had the billionaires telling me this is going to be bad because we're already seeing it turn. So they're at the top of the food chain saying that things are going to get ugly. Of course, it took a while, and some of that was because a lot of liquidity flooded into the market after that crazy thing that happened with COVID. Right? A little thing happened in the neighborhood with COVID, right? And they just dumped money, and that money went all over the place, and a lot of billionaires' pockets, of course. And now they're scrambling. They're investing in silver to protect their assets, protect their asses. So now, if you have any money left, because I'm hearing from a lot of people that they don't have any money, we're just getting started, guys. It's going to get a lot worse before it's all over. It's going to be 1929 on like the mother of all crashes, right? The mother of all stock crashes, which will extend to everything. So we will have almost everything go up in price. Stock market wise, silver and gold will go to like crazy levels. Probably the crypto will go to crazy levels, but everything else, not so much, right? Everything else, not so much. You're going to see businesses fail. You're going to see housing, like I've been talking about, really start to pick up speed to the downside. I've been watching this for a long time. The last couple months, I have seen prices in a lot of different areas. I've seen, like here where I'm at in, the Lake Tahoe, Nevada side. It was always a pricey area, and it got really crazy after COVID and all the money flushing into the system. I looked at one property in 2017. The builder basically sold the property, brand new house, beautiful home, for $1.4 million. This is in 2017. Now, this was almost at the bottom of the 2008, 2009 stock market crash. Of course, that was precipitated by residential prices collapsing. And now we've already seen the peak, and we're starting to see it come down the other side. So, and it took it years and years and years before it started to come back. So 2017 was around the time frame. 2016, 2017 was a time frame where it started to turn. And then when we got the money that just dumped into the market, a lot of people bought real estate. Real estate went on a ridiculous ride high. Ridiculous, right? So that $1.4 million home that I was talking about went to 13 million several months ago. It has dropped, or actually 14 million. It's dropped $1 million, right? So it's 13 million. They were listing it as 14 million. Now it is 13 million, but it's probably going to go back down to that 1.7 or even lower, guys. That's what's going to happen, right? Anyone that buys that place is going to get stuck holding that price probably for, you look at the stock market crash in 1929, it took 35 years just to get back to that price, just to that price. And then it went higher, and then it dropped below that price again in, I think, the 70s, and then it went up, and then it's gone higher ever since. So you saw the Japanese stock market also collapse. It didn't reach its high point until last year. So .com, so that's 25 years that it was down, and now it's back below the point of its high back in the .com era, right? So we're going to see the same thing happen again, guys. We're going to see massive stock markets liquidating and on a massive scale, on an absolutely massive scale. And so cutting rates. So we're going to see rate cut after rate cut after rate cut, and probably into the next year. That's basically, I've said that already. I said that this rate cut that was coming, I predicted it. I predicted all the other rate cuts as well. I predicted the stock market crash in 2019 that happened in 2020, where the stock market, and I've said this many times, I predicted within 100 points of where it actually crashed, right? And so I'm not ready to predict this one yet. It's not time yet, but it will crash. Just like I said, housing prices will start to crash, and they're going to crash. I said it a couple years. So you've had a couple years to liquidate and make some money and put it in silver, right? So if you haven't done that, you're going to get left holding the bag, right? And I know a lot of boomers out there that have a lot of real estate, and they're going to you better get out of that. You better get out of that. All right. So, I mean, yeah, you were smart to get in it, and you made some nice profits. Pigs get slaughtered. All right. Don't be a pig. All right. I've been a pig, got slaughtered in a lot of stuff. I'm giving you advice, hard-won advice. All right. So, all right. So we're basically going to see the same thing that we saw during the last .com bust, and you're going to get it doubly bad. 1929 .com crash, 2011, 2008, 2009 crash, all of it, all rolled in one. It's coming. Now, we could see this thing get pushed and stay pushed by the Trump administration all the way into the November elections next year. And then, right? So I don't know. I don't know if it's going to last that long. That's a long time from now. That's well over a year. And, a lot of us been predicting this, and like I said, I predicted a couple of years ago, I thought, in 2022, that was it. We're seeing the end of it, and it bounced back. It bounced back. Very amazing. Housing prices were crashing. Stock market was crashing. And then it just turned around. When it started going back up. And I was like, bullshit. That's it. Kept going. And now it's like crazy high, and it's going to get a lot higher. All right. This always happens at the end. The last thing to see the money come out of it will be the stock market. So as the rate cuts come, that's basically crack. That's crack to the stock market addict. All right. Now the housing addict isn't going to get any relief. Right. A lot of people were like, well, when they start to cut rates, they were waiting for the rate cuts to come, and they thought that, mortgage rates would be lower and then people come in. No. People do not have money for that. Right. We're at a crash. The crash for housing. We've already seen the crash for high-end housing is started a long time ago in certain areas. The crash in commercial real estate been going on for well over a year, going into 2 years now, right? That's going to continue. The residential real estate is going to start to pick up speed. Every month it's going to get up more, faster and faster and faster. More and more houses are going to drop in price, percentage-wise. Massive percentage price destruction. Destruction and home prices, all right, is here, and it's going to pick up speed. So you guys are holding the real estate. You're going to get spanked if you think it's going to turn around. If you have a realtor who's telling you to hold it, oh, they're giving you some bad advice. All right. So maybe in certain areas, every area that I'm checking, not so much. All right. So that $13 million home here that went for $1.4 million, what was that? not even 10 years ago, 8 years ago, it went to ridiculous price in 8 years. That's ridiculous. That's like 12x, 13, 12x, whatever it was. All right. So that normally that is the kind of price appreciation that you see in some of the crazy bubbles. So we had a housing price bubble that was created again. It was created and it burst back in 2009 to 11. And it just kept going down and down in certain areas and stayed down, and then started to slowly creep back up. And then when we got the money flushing out into the system, helicopter dumps of money from the Fed, everything started blowing up. Everything started going up, right? Stock market, home prices, you name it, everything went up. Car prices, all right? Now people are like forfeiting their cars all over the place. The highest level of basically people reneging on their car loans, highest ever. We have the highest ever of credit card default. So many things that you normally don't hear of unless you look at these things, right? So we're going to start to see the housing prices start to collapse. People are going to sell those homes and going to put it in the stock market. If they're smart, they'll put it in silver. So that's where we're going, guys. It's going to, and if you're holding out on a price of a home, if you've cut once, twice, 3, 4, 5 times, you probably need to cut a little more aggressively. Hello, you better get on it. Better get on it. Or you're gonna be cutting home prices. Probably that guy with a $13 million home. If he cut like $3 million off, he probably sucker somebody into buying it, right? Former $14 million home, you can get it for 10, right? And I don't know, maybe some sucker's gonna buy it for 13 million. I don't know. There's just because you got a lot of money doesn't mean you're smart, right? All right. And maybe there's a reason why they want the loss. So some people want a massive loss and they can write it off on taxes. So that could be happening too. I don't know. That's crazy to me. Why would you ever want to lose money for anything? Anyway, so let's look at the screen. I'll show you guys a graph. I like to look at the technicals, but I'm also a guy that looks at fundamentals. I would say I'm very rounded when it comes to picking stocks or homes or whatever. I have stayed out of buying homes for the last several years because I knew this time was coming where everything was going to crash, right? It's not here yet. I thought it was here, like I said, in 2022. They manipulated, gave it a little breath of life so it could still stay alive a little bit longer. But this thing's going to die. It's going to die a very ugly death. All right, so here's the .com. This is the summer of 1998. Global financial turmoil erupted following Russia's debt default. So we basically, we being the United States, basically helped Russia collapse, or the Soviet Union collapse. And that was Juan O'Savins talked about it several times. This was a military thing where they came in, they dropped the price of gas to Texans. Good job, Texans. They dropped the price of gas like crazy. Of course, Russians, you know, they make money selling gas too, like they're doing right now. And they came in and they just like created this massive downfall, which destroyed the Soviet Union. And then now we have Russia. So during this time frame, they started cutting rates. This is when Greenspan came in. Remember, Greenspan talked about irrational exuberance. And he said that several years, over 3 years before the stock market crashed. So he warned of irrational exuberance. And I've been warning about that for a couple of years now. We're probably going to get maybe another year of it. We'll see, because we're cutting rates. And like you see here, the NASDAQ went from like 1,000 to like what, 45, almost 5,000. And then it came all the way back down to 1,000. Right. And it didn't come back again for a long, long time. There's no graph here that shows that. I've showed this on other shows. But during this time frame, markets around the world collapsed. Here's one, the Asian financial crisis, riot in Indonesia. We've seen riots in Indonesia recently. All right. We've seen a lot of this stuff, you know, happening around the world already. So now where's another place where this has happened? Another place where this has happened is in Argentina, like I talked about earlier. So let me share the screen, show you guys Argentina. So this is canary in the coal mine stuff, guys. Now, Melu admits the market is in panic mode as Argentine capital exodus accelerates. So we're going to start to see the collapse of markets around the world as the most powerful country still in the world, with the dollar being the reserve currency of the world, begins to have its massive, all the money comes to America and will blow up our stock market, will blow up probably crypto, will blow up silver and gold. It will go to a crazy level. Everything will crash. Silver and gold will pull back pretty good because it's a sell everything when everything starts to sell. Then silver and gold will turn around. It will never look back, just like we saw in other stock market crashes. Only this time it will just keep going, because eventually we're going to go back to silver and gold as, you know, it's going to be pegged to the dollar or whatever it's going to be pegged to, right? So in a desperate attempt to satisfy demand for hard currency and prevent the peso from cratering, the 3-day intervention rose to 1.1 billion. So this is a country that only has 20 billion in liquid foreign reserves. So as you guys can see, it is collapsing. Now, will his government collapse? No. Melu basically came out with you know, he had the chainsaw, and he took the chainsaw to all this stuff. He had like whiteboards and all that kind of stuff. Same thing that Elon Musk did. Remember seeing Elon with the chainsaw? So they basically copied what Melu did. And I don't know if I'm pronouncing that right, but something like that. Looks like Melu, but it could be something different. So anyway, you see basically it's crashing. Now, it was the darling at one point. As Bloomberg points out, it's a stark change of fortunes for Melu, whose deep spending cuts and sweeping reforms had been welcomed by global investors soon after the libertarian economists took office in late 2023. So 2 years later, it's collapsing. And if he doesn't get a lot of people voting for him next month in October, it's not going to be good. So we expect continued foreign exchange and asset price volatility between now and the national midterm vote on October 26th, right? So a little over a month away. If they don't go in his favor, which, you know, it's the economy, stupid. All right. So if the economy's not doing good, it's not good for the party that's in power ever. Right. So its time is not on Argentina's side. So that's the article. So from Zero Hedge. All right. Not looking good. So that's a tattletale. That's basically canary in the coal mine. We've seen this, like I said, around the world where people are rioting. I think it's going to happen in France where Macron gets replaced. Whether he wants to be replaced or not, he's going to be replaced. All right. We'll see the same thing with Starmer in the UK. Maybe in other countries, we'll see people getting replaced. And like I said in another show, the deep state, they don't care. They like chaos. So if these guys, get their heads chopped off and they get paraded through the streets on a pike, that's chaos, and they do well in chaos, right? They come here, they always have a alternative for everybody. It's like, oh, you didn't like macaroni and cheese? Well, we have French fries for you, right? Yeah, beefaroni or whatever, So we got another dish for you, and look, you're gonna like this so much more. And it's Macron, he was dealing with the aliens, and so we showed you that, so we had to take him out. So, and Starmer, he got beamed up in aircraft and came down. He was doing stupid, so we had to take him out too. Charlie Kirk, all the assassins are coming from other planets, and so everybody's gonna be like, we don't want to hear that shit anymore. So that's kind of the way the shit works. So we got the 3i Atlas coming in. They're gonna drop off some Andromeda Anunnaki, and they're gonna be parading around like 20 feet tall and chopping people up, and then the economy is going to collapse. So, I don't know. It's just make it up as you go along. It's better than a lot of stuff we're seeing out there. All right. Chicken Little, my wife says. Oh, the sky is falling. That's a good one. All right. So the show that I did this morning on September 11th, I was supposed to have Kurt Weldon on. He could make it. So I went ahead and did a show on 9/11 anyway, because I'm an expert in when it's bullshit. Right? I come in and I've been talking about 9/11 since 9/11 happened, right? And that's when the stock market really crashed after 9/11, right? .com bust was going on, and it really picked up speed. And they're like, don't look here, look over there, type thing, and the stock market crashed. And some people made money, like myself, and some people didn't. But anyway, this was people came in and chatted. Like I said, when I get a chance, I'll look at the chat. This was a really good. People came in and chatted really good about this. It surprises me that there's still people that believe the 9/11, bullshit. So here's a gentleman. I talked about how when they use directed energy weapons, it becomes very toxic radiologically, and people get radiological sicknesses, and they mask that as other things. But if you look at all the sicknesses and the deaths and so forth, if you look at it from a radiological poisoning standpoint, it all matches, right? So directed energy weapons, and I think they may have actually in the basement cooked off a nuke to basically handle all of the material that fell. Of course, we know there was a lot of justification that happened there from the directed energy weapons and so forth, but a lot of people got sick after this. So this one gentleman came in and said, Michael, on 9/11, 2001, I was a police chief as well as a level 2 firefighter for our local community. So he went on to attend International Police Chiefs Association conferences in October 2001. So a month later, he's in Toronto, Canada. Said there were many police and firefighters present at the conference. There were many from New York and many who were working on the sifting of all the debris of 9/11. These brave souls were suffering then. Of course they were, because that was when the radiological effects are most intense, right afterwards. And he goes on to say, and are still suffering. Now, if they treated them for radiological damage, they probably make a lot of headway faster in helping and treating these guys, but they're not for most cases, because they can't admit it. They can't admit it. It says both police and firefighters. It was tragic and obvious then, and it still haunts me today that we were misled. Yes, it's very tragic, and it still goes on. The lies and manipulation still continue almost a quarter century later. All right, so here's another one. Retired fire department, New York here. I was off that day, but we were all called in and recalled. We weren't let in, I guess, into the city until that evening, as they were afraid of secondary attacks or devices. So they staged us in alternating slots. Couldn't afford to lose masses of people in a location. So yes, as often happens with Al-Qaeda attacks, but this wasn't an Al-Qaeda attack, it was a deep state attack. There are multiple attacks to take out more and more people. We're going to talk about that in a minute, because that's coming for our U.S. cities, guys. Even the 9/11 Commission admitted in the report that evidence and information was withheld. A good friend of mine was friends with Oreo, the guy that I talked about on the show. Absolute hero, was made it all the way up to where the plane crashed into the building. They were on top of the fires, like so they were in the 9/11 fake report. They were saying fires were raging. So here we have this this fire crew that made it all the way up there. They had restored one of the communication devices, which all seemed to magically have been taken down. So there wasn't any communication with a lot of the firefighters, unfortunately. But he was able to communicate because he restored one of the communication devices, and he was passing information. He said that they were on the floor, just need a little bit of help, and then everything should be good. They would have control of the fire, and then the building collapsed a minute later. So obviously the deep state heard that, and they're like, okay, collapse it now. So within time after he passed that, there were reports where people on floors that were starting to collapse. So the floors above him were starting to pancake down, collapsing. They were being explosively detonated, and they were collapsing, and it collapsed on all. Right. He says, if you search through many members who stated clearly they heard the explosions right before the buildings came down. Unfortunately, most of the department accepted the standard story of lies. So this is another thing that I keep telling everybody. As long as we have people agreeing to the narrative, refusing to accept the truth for whatever reason, this shit show continues, guys. So he goes on to say, it's such a touchy subject that even members would argue if you question the narrative. I know, because I always try to question and do the critical thinking, kind of like a Charlie Kirk guy with the guys I work with. And yeah, they get really, upset, right? Argumentative and, wanted to fight and all kinds of stuff, but they didn't fight me, right? They knew they didn't want to fight me. All right. There is so much evidence of what really happened that day. Never mind Building 7. Right. So thank you, Johnny Hot Rod, for that statement. Very good. All right. So there were all other people have put other things. Now it takes bravery to come in and make these comments, because people might know who you are. All right. And like this gentleman and myself included, we get blowback from knuckleheads that still want to, believe in the narrative and want to fight everybody that doesn't, they become like those Nazis on mask wearing, right? How many of those people that were Nazis on mask wearing are saying they're sorry for having done that now? None of them. All right. All right. So Jaco, New York City here. Thank you for all you do and the intel blessings. Jaco, the dancing Jews, allegedly involved with Bush. Okay, that's another one. So yeah, those were some pretty good comments. There's many more. I know you guys come in here. You do thousands of comments. Of course, I can't read all those comments, but I catch a few of them. And yeah, mask holes. That's a good one. The all-seeing guy. All right, we're gonna have to put that up. Let's show that one. All right. Hopefully that shows up. Maybe my skin tone's not letting that come through. So let me get over here. It's like, all right, that's gray. It's like maybe the skin tone. There we go. Mask holes. Mask holes. I love it. Good one. That's one that we're going to use. All right. The all-seeing guy. Right. I love it. All right. So we got some good comments coming in. Always love them. I know you guys chatted up in the chat. Get a little chat going on while I do the show. I appreciate it. Now, yesterday I had quite a few people watching. Have a decent amount right now. It is what it is. I used to have 5, 6, 7,000 used to watch me back in the day when I had a big YouTube channel. I get 1,000 now and I get excited. It's like, wow, I have 1,200 now. Now, yesterday I had I think about 1,500, had talking some stuff and people were loving it. And then I talked about what we really need to be focusing on, like I just talked about right in there. And I don't know what the numbers were if you guys started checking out, because I was talking about, real things, real people. But that's why we're here, real people. All right. And I started doing this where this one woman had lost her daughter from a illegal alien that came in, raped her, killed her. And people just started checking out. And I was like, that's bullshit. What the hell are you guys doing? This is the thing that we want to be, really focused on. And some people were saying that there was kind of sketchy with the internet. So my apologies to you if you actually went out because it was bad internet. But if you're not paying attention when you should be paying attention, when we're talking about real people and why we're doing what we're doing, all of us should be doing what we're doing. Real people, shame on you. All right. Laura Loomer. All right, let me share this post, and this is what I'll leave you with. Food for thought at the end. So if you've checked out early, then you're going to miss what probably is one of the most important things. And I've been also talking about this for 5 years, right? Urgent intelligence alert. So that doesn't mean it's going to happen soon, but it is getting closer than ever, I feel. So must read and urgent intelligence alert. NCTC confirms Al-Qaeda presence. Been talking about this one ever since Joe Biden got in office, started letting these knuckleheads into our country. Al-Qaeda presence on U.S. soil. Imminent sorry, that's my wife just blowing up over there. She caught herself, sorry. Multi-city Islamic terror attacks. Sources tell me tonight that the National Counterterrorism Center, NCTC, has officially determined that Islamic terrorists affiliated with Al-Qaeda have infiltrated U.S. soil and are actively planning a series of coordinated Islamic terror attacks. Duh, we've been saying this for years, guys. Get out of the big cities. This marks the first time federal counterterrorism officials have openly acknowledged the immediacy of such threats, signaling a potential escalation in domestic jihadist activity not seen since the height of ISIS-inspired plots in the mid-2010s. All right. All right. So according to the latest assessment, shared classified briefing, blah, blah, blah. Group's resurgence in Afghanistan. Thank you, Joe Biden, for pulling out of there. And the North and Central Africa have embedded themselves across major urban centers in the U.S. All right. So I've been saying this lately. Hospitals are going to be their targets because this is going to be on a more widespread attack than has ever been. This is going to be like 9/11 on steroids, guys, because it's going to be multi-city. So they're buying up uniforms, police, first responder uniforms from surplus outlets, online vendors in at least 5 states. The 5 states that I say will probably go away: New York, Los Angeles, Chicago, Houston, and Miami. There'll be a lot more, but those are the ones they're saying right now. So they've, through CCTV footage and credit card anomalies and so forth. So they're getting all this stuff, and they intend to blend in, allowing attackers to blend in, direct panic crowds, or even execute secondary strikes on fleeing victims. I saw these tactics in the Middle East, right? Same tactics. Now, they didn't attack hospitals because the hospitals, for them, were part of the thing that they promoted to get in power. So a lot of the hospitals, as I found out the hard way, have a lot of terrorist sympathizers in them in the Middle East, right? Not so much here in the United States, although there are a lot of Democrats that are in those hospitals. I remember having some work done in a hospital one time, and I'm walking through, and I can hear people talking openly, loudly, of how much they hate Donald Trump. So my sources tell me that Al-Qaeda terror attacks plans in the U.S. are focused on hospitals and medical facilities because they've been infiltrated by leftists, right? A lot of these doctors and nurses and so forth, and a lot of these hospitals, because I talked to good nurses and doctors, and they have left a lot of these hospitals, guys, right? Because of, the leftists that are in there. And maybe some of you have encountered that as well when you've gone to the hospitals. But if you are a leftist, a Democrat, you probably love going there because you're all thinking and saying the same stuff. Bullshit, right? So, and you're dying because it's, stupid. They're killing people massively in hospitals now. And that's what was happening in the Middle East as well, right? Their hospital care started going downhill just like it is here in the United States, guys. And it's because it got infiltrated by leftists, which, come from schools that all they're teaching is transgenderism, and they don't teach anything about, how to prevent disease. They teach you how to treat disease so they can make a lot of money off you dying. All right. All right. So the intent appears clear: disrupt healthcare infrastructure to prevent treatment of the wounded. So they're going to do terrorist attacks in cities, blow stuff up. They had a lot of bomb material that they got off that train that, magically the FBI never was able to find any of that bomb material, massive amounts of, fertilizer bomb material type stuff. And so what do you think happened to it? All right. It's sort of ready for these terror attacks that are coming. So effectively creating a second wave. So we saw this in a lot of cities where they would do a car bomb. A lot of times they would do it around children. The parents would come running in, and the ambulance services would come running in. Everyone's in shock. They want to help everybody, of course, especially little children that are bombed, shot up, and all that kind of stuff. They don't care. They haven't cared in our schools, have they? It's getting worse and worse in our schools, isn't it? These are the leftists. These are the terrorists that are already here. All right. So they're going to increase these attacks. So when law enforcement comes in massive levels, you have all of the local hospitals are sending, ambulances because there's lots of people that are, dead or dying. They're going to blow it up again. That's what they did in the Middle East. Only this time, instead of blowing up the emergency services when they come, they're going to go right to the hospitals. and start attacking the hospitals. Now, you may have a couple, Barney Fife security guys in the hospitals, with a, couple pistolos, but that's not gonna work against, heavy machine guns that come in and they start blasting everybody, right? And they're gonna start dropping hand grenades and bombs and all kind of crazy stuff. It's gonna be real. It's gonna be bad, right? So this is what I've been hearing for a while, that they're going to start to attack the hospitals as well. Just getting you guys ready for this because it's coming. It depends on it. It remains to be seen, when, if the White Hats can stop this. That'd be crazy, amazing if they do. I don't think so, but maybe they're preventing it from happening earlier rather than later, and not on a massive level that it's going to happen. So that we could face, them, coming into, of course, Chicago, I think is really going to get hammered, especially when President Trump starts to send in, the National Guard and so forth. That could be when this really starts to kick. It could be then. It could be something else that triggers it, but it will happen in multiple cities. So the Department of Homeland Security source is saying that the additional deaths, potential for hundreds, if not thousands, is going to be horrific beyond comprehension. Right? My comprehension goes pretty far out there. Right? So I think easily thousands, more like tens of thousands. Right? Maybe even more than that. The plot scale points to simultaneous strikes across multiple cities, echoing Al-Qaeda's historical ambitions for mass casualty operations like 9/11, but adapted for urban guerrilla tactics. So you guys, you got your gun at home. You think you're going to be safe. These are going to be well-trained, terrorists. Some of them with U.S. military training. Yeah, right. Now, when I used to go overseas, we only trained them to a certain level, but that was a long time ago. And you had contractors that were coming in, and I saw some of them that were training some of these savages to a great level, right? And that's not going to be a good thing for the world coming up. Now, Europe will probably suffer a lot worse than America, because America, the civilian population has guns. Canada, total blood mayhem, right? Same thing in Australia, same thing in New Zealand, same thing in South Africa. So anywhere where there's no guns, citizens do not have access to guns, it will be extremely catastrophic, right? So plan it, plan on it, plan to die, no, plan to live, get with groups. If there's any way you can get weapons, I don't care, bow and arrow, whatever, slingshot, right, BB gun, whatever you're allowed to have, knives, learn how to throw knives, right, projectiles. So have your home set up so you can quickly push stuff against the door, so it's very hard to come into your home. Windows, I don't know. So shutter them. Crazy. I don't know. Get creative out there. Get out of the big cities. It's going to get crazy out there. When, I don't know. How much, I don't know. But I've been predicting this for a very long time, and it's coming down to the wire now. So now you have, the government agencies are basically putting it out there now. That's pretty much, it's right on the doorstep, in my opinion, when the federal agencies, because they're the last ones that report this stuff, right? So real craziness is coming, is starting to basically identify itself. Many of us are starting to, see it in how it's going to come out. It's, your daughter has a sword. That's good, right? And that's something. Now I was over at Scott McKay's house, and he's got guns everywhere. He's got swords everywhere. He's got tomahawks everywhere. Like, I was like, he was upstairs, and we were doing a show, and he banged on the table, and I thought somebody was coming through one of the doors, and I was like, where's that weapon? So I was like identifying where I was going to go for a weapon, and it was like, he was up there banging on the table. It's like trying to make a point. Okay. But that's the way I think. And my wife standing right next to me, she was in the same, because she'll take a knife, she'll take a sword, and she'll go to town with it. Right. You don't want to be around her either when she gets hot. No. She knows. She used to hang out with me, and she used to be, well, if I had a gun, I'd probably shoot myself if somebody broke in. She doesn't say that anymore, right? So we helped train her out of that. All right. So she would. So it's like, would you do that if your daughter or your granddaughters or your friends with their kids came into your house and you had a gun? Would you shoot yourself because the terrorists were coming to your house? No, that's ridiculous, right? But unfortunately, there are some people who think that way. My wife at one time. Jeez. So come a long way. Yeah, Tracy would kick ass. She'd be good. All right. And her son and her son's girlfriend, and all of us are shooters. All right. All of us are big time shooters. They shoot a lot, and that's good. All right. It's down to the wire, and a lot of different things. You can still make money with the stock market and crypto and silver and gold going up. I'll keep you guys informed the best that I can. You never know. We could get these terrorist attacks that happen in the cities, and then the stock market collapses. And you guys are like, you said it was going to go up. It's like, yeah. So this is why sometimes I don't like to give advice. Some people are like, but you said, you take responsibility for your money, and you invest it, and you put it where you decide to. And if it doesn't work out, because there's a lot of people that came in and said, I'm like Jaco, and I think you should invest in this crypto account and put all your money there. And what's your bank account number? And, people have really, Scott McKay was telling me about somebody that had happened on several occasions, unfortunately, where people came in and said they were Scott McKay. They believed it, and they lost over $1 million, right? Because they gave away account information, and the person came into their account. The FBI can't help them. All the Kingsmen, all the King sources couldn't put Humpty Dumpty Buck together again. And that's your money. So invest wisely. I would say if you want to invest and forget, silver is absolutely your best bet. All right. It is more than double from the time where I was jumping up. I and Kirk Elliott were jumping up and down saying invest it when it was $17. $43, $44, you're still going to see, I believe, probably a doubling in the rest of this year. And we only have a few months left. So that's a lot, right? We're probably going to see this thing pop over $50 within a couple of weeks, at least, I think, maybe less. So silver over $50, and then it's really going to take off. It'll probably hover a couple places and then move like it does. Gold will go up crazy. Everything goes up, right? Except for housing. Right? Money doesn't go poof, it goes somewhere else. So it's going to start coming out of that housing like it is right now, and it's going to chase something. And once everybody gets wiped out, then it's like the landscape, looking out over the landscape that's devastated. That house that used to be 13 million is only worth $1 million now. So I think I'll buy that. I have silver that's worth, way more than I invested in the beginning, way more. So that's what I want for you guys. I want you guys to be the winners on the other side of this. I hope no leftists or Democrats are watching. All right. So, or if you are a leftist and a Democrat, I hope that you change. You see the light, and you don't have to be a conservative. You just don't have to be an asshole, right? And want to kill everybody that doesn't agree with you. It's like, just be a human being for change. You know, that's all we ask. That's all we ask. Just be a human being. All right, guys. Lots of love. Stay in that love vibration, and I'll see you guys when I see you. All right, now I'll see you next time.